I have dismantled an old computer, and this is the power supply that came from that old computer. If you look at the label here, it says yellow is 12 volts, red is 5 volts, and purple is 3.5 volts. Here's how it works. There's 240 volt in, and there's your low voltage wires out. So I'm going to use a light to demonstrate how it works. And what you do, you have to switch it on. Now, there's 12 volts. There's 5 volts. And we'll go across to the purple wire. And we've got 3 volts approximately. But did you know that also, besides stepping down voltages, computer power supplies step up voltages? So you can increase the voltage from 240 volt in to a higher voltage. I'm now going to take the cover off, but the most important thing, disconnect the 240 volts. Right, there's the cover off. This is the part here that we need to step up the voltage. They're the diodes and 2 capacitors. The rest we don't need. First thing you need to do is cut the zip ties. And then disconnect the power cords. Right, PCB is being disconnected and now it's taken out, and what we need to do is chop that off and grind away all the circuit. So that's the part what we need. It's ready to go now. That's the 2 input wires, the low voltage, and they're the 2 output voltage wires, they're high voltage. And what I've done, use an angle grinder, trimmed around all the areas we don't need, and all the components are on top of there. They're all gone. It's ready for a test run. Here is the test rig all set up. We've got 240 volts coming in to the variac, and then the lower voltage from the variac comes from here to here, and then that powers that light, so you can see the voltage difference between that one and the high voltage light. And that is the multimeter for the voltage that's coming out of the high voltage light. And this is the multimeter here. It's going to measure the low voltage coming in. We'll switch it on now. There we got about 100 volts. And in here you can barely see the globe working. and we'll see what the voltage is. It's 39 volts. Here we got about 249 volts on the high voltage side and 93 volts on the low voltage side. One thing you'll have to watch out with this setup, these two capacitors will hold a charge for a long time. You have to discharge them before you handle them, otherwise you'll get zapped big time. We'll switch it on. Now I'll switch it off. Now see, it's slowly starting to discharge. Even though that blew that globe, there's still 96 volts left in that capacitor. It still has to be discharged. Now, even after about 5 minutes, there's still 96 volts on those capacitors. So now I'll discharge them. Watch the light globe. Now that was a very successful test. But let me say exactly what you can't do with this. With this setup, you cannot drop the voltage down. You can only raise the voltage up. Also, what you can do is you can put these capacitors in series and you will get multiple steps, and in theory you can get tens of thousands of volts. I have done it from 12 volts to 240 volts. Here, as you can see, the voltage now is 300 plus, nearly 400 volts. They can be dangerous and they can be handy. Use it in the right way.